Welcome back to another episode of Black Fantasy Football. Wide receiver starts that came out earlier today. If you haven't seen that, go back and like it. Also, like, subscribe, helps us out tremendously. We're at 62 last time I checked, so make sure we keep subscribing. We'd like to hit 100 by the end of the season. We're here to help you win games, win those playoff matchups. This way we can get you closer and closer to a fantasy football championship. If you've been using our advice throughout the year, hopefully it's been helping you a good amount. And if you're new to the channel, home stretch, baby. Let's get this one going here. Kicking us off, though, of one of 3 games for Thanksgiving. You got the Packers at the Lions. I'm going to go ahead and start Jordan Love, and I'm going to actually give Jared Goff a cautionary start. Now, Jordan Love has been more consistent here, and I absolutely love the opportunity for him. Went up against the Chargers last week. Now, the Chargers are 31st, when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks. Jordan Love now goes up against the Lions, who are 27th in that category. 322 yards last week and 2 touchdowns against the Chargers, and he's minimizing those turnovers. Like that opportunity. Back-to-back good weeks for Love, and now he has another good matchup. Jared Goff, on the other hand, a little bit of a different story. Up against the 23rd ranked Bears last week. 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He's not controlling those turnovers right now, and that's hurting fantasy value. And he's up against the Packers, who are 15th against quarterback position. So Jordan Love start, Jared Goff cautionary start in this matchup. Moving on now, we have the 4 o'clock games here, or 4 o'clock game here, I should say. It is the Commanders and the Cowboys. I'm going to go ahead and give Sam Howell a cautionary start. Now, Sam Howell is up against the Cowboys, who are 6th ranked against quarterback position this year so far. Sam Howell last week against the Giants, who was a little bit of an easier matchup. 255 yards, a touchdown, 3 interceptions. Now, could it be a fluke game? I honestly think it could be. Now, up against Dallas, though, you got to temper, your expectations got to be set back a little bit here. He's not going to get you a ton of points like he has been recently the last couple weeks, but could still put up a decent floor. So if you need a quarterback this week, that's not a bad option here. We don't have any buys this week, so if, there's an injury you had the last couple weeks or last week, whatever, not a bad option there. Now, Dak Prescott, on the other hand, go and start him. He's up against the Commanders, who are dead last when it comes to points getting off the quarterbacks. Even though he only threw 189 yards and 2 touchdowns last week, he really didn't have to throw the ball a lot. Now it's a home game, Thanksgiving. Cowboys do play a lot better at home, and they like to show out. So definitely like Dak Prescott's opportunity here in Week 12. And now our last game on Thanksgiving Day here, 49ers, Seahawks. Brock Purdy's going to be a start for me. Geno Smith's going to be a sit, especially that he has a questionable tag as well. Now Brock Purdy's going up against the Seahawks, who are 16th against points given up to quarterbacks here. But Purdy has 2 back-to-back games now with 3 touchdowns in each of them. I absolutely like the opportunity for him here in this matchup. Geno Smith, on the other hand, like I said, questionable tag. He's up against the 49ers, who are 3rd. They are the 3rd best at giving up the minimum amount of points to quarterbacks. So we definitely don't like that opportunity for Geno Smith here, so sit him. Now we got a weird one here. Friday game. Usually don't see those very often. Dolphins and Jets, though. Nevertheless, Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a start for me in this one. Tim Boyle is going to take over under center now that Zach Wilson is gone, so Tim Boyle is going to be a sit. Just temper your expectation here for Tua as well. Not the best outing last week. Now he goes up against the Jets, who are 9th. But this is a game where the Jets defense has been pretty good. It's not the defense has been the problem. It's been the offense that's been the problem for the Jets. So this could potentially turn into a game where Tua can still score a good amount of points. Just don't expect a massive amount from Tua in this matchup. And now we have the Buccaneers and the Colts kicking us off at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Baker Mayfield and Gardner Minshew are both going to be cautionary starts for me in this matchup. Reason being is Gardner Minshew now has Josh Downs back and Michael Pittman Jr. This should be a good opportunity for Gardner Minshew against the 29th ranked points given up the Buccaneers are. Almost dead last. 29th ranked when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew should have an opportunity here to bounce back in production for fantasy football. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, is going up against the Colts, who are 12th ranked. Now, Mayfield did throw for 246 yards, a touchdown, and interception, and he did have a fumble against the 49ers. But like I just said a little bit ago, 49ers are 3rd ranked against quarterback. Colts are 12th. Mayfield could still have a decent game here, but again, somebody that if you need to stream this week because you don't like the other matchup, this is somebody I would definitely like Baker Mayfield in this opportunity here. Now we have the Patriots and Giants. This one's going to be an easy one. Mac Jones is questionable. And the Patriots just said they're not going to release who the quarterback is going to be for Sunday until pretty much game time at this point. So Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi are both going to be sits. We don't know which one's going to play, and honestly, I don't like either one of them starting in this matchup. And also, Tommy DeVito will be a sit, even though he threw for 246 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Commanders. Reminder, like I said earlier, Commanders are dead last when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks. Giants just, I don't know, that could have been a fluke game altogether. But nevertheless, the Giants did get a win in that matchup, so just make sure you, with these 3 quarterbacks on the screen, you're going to sit all these quarterbacks. Now we have a divisional matchup here, Steelers and Bengals in the AFC North. This is going to be very simple as well. I'm going to go ahead and sit both these quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett has looked absolutely garbage the last couple weeks here. Had a couple tougher matchups overall, but still he is not putting up anywhere near close to even a floor for us to be able to calculate for him. So go ahead and sit him, even though he's up against the Bengals, who are 24th when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks. And on the other side, you have Jake Browning for the Bengals. No Joe Burrow for the rest of the year. He is done on the IR. Tore a ligament in his wrist. Obviously, something similar to a UCL like Brock Purdy had in the championship game last year for the NFC Championship. But Jake Browning, I'm not going to go ahead and just shy away completely from him in this situation. I'm going to be very interested to see what he can do. He could put up some points, but again, something where we got to see what he can do first. And going up against the Steelers with the 7th best when it comes to not giving up a lot of points to quarterbacks, yeah, I don't like the opportunity for him, but I'm going to go ahead and sit him in this matchup. Now we have the Panthers and the Titans here, and the same thing with this situation here. Bryce Young, Will Levis, both are going to be sits for me here. Bryce Young is going up against the Titans, who are 18th when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks, and the Panthers are 5th when it comes to giving up points to quarterbacks. Will Levis is going to have a tough outing, and Bryce Young's just got to prove it, man. He has not put up a good amount of fantasy points since that game against the Lions a couple weeks back. So you're going to go ahead and sit both these quarterbacks in this matchup as well. Now this one's going to be an interesting one, and I really hope it turns into a game that I expect it to. This should be an all-out shootout game between the Jaguars and the Texans. Trevor Lawrence finally put up a great performance last week, and now he's going up against the Texans and CJ Stroud, who has been killing it all year. Jaguars are 21st in points given up to quarterbacks, while the Texans are 22nd. This should be a field day for both these quarterbacks to score you a lot of points. So if you have either one of these guys, I honestly would start them in this game moving forward. This is an all-out great game for both of these quarterbacks. Now we have the Saints and the Falcons. Saints are 13th against the quarterback position, and Falcons are 28th, which is why I have Derek Carr, who is still questionable with a concussion. He did have a bye week last week, so I expect him to make a comeback here. I expect him to play this game. If he does, start him. If he does not, and it's Jameis Winston, temper your expectations. Like I said, Falcons are 28th against the pass. However, Jameis Winston loves to turn the ball over, so that's going to give me a cautionary start for him. Desmond Ridder for the Falcons, though, I'm going to go ahead and sit him in this matchup. First game back after a couple games of being benched. We'll see what he's got. Taylor Heineke's hurt, so Desmond Ridder is coming back. And originally, that was the plan all along, according to all reports from the Atlanta Falcons organization, that Desmond Ridder was going to sit for a couple games, kind of get it, clear his head out a little bit, make sure he's not playing with emotion the way he has been, or, kind of give him a little bit more time to learn under a veteran who's been in the league, whether good or bad, in Taylor Heineke. So, but regardless of that situation, Desmond Ridder is going to be a sit for me in this matchup. Now we kick off our Sunday at 4 o'clock games. Rams, Cardinals. Matthew Stafford's going to be a cautionary start for me in this matchup. Stafford should be able to put up a decent amount of points with his floor, going up against the Cardinals, who are 26th ranked. But having no Cooper Kupp, or at least it sounds like no Cooper Kupp, if Cooper Kupp plays, obviously they'll start Matthew Stafford. But with no Cooper Kupp as of right now, it seems like I'm going to go ahead and put him as a cautionary start. Cardinals side of the ball, Kyler Murray with that rushing upside, being able to keep making plays happen. This is a good opportunity, I believe, for Kyler Murray to continue to prove why he is the starter for the Cardinals, especially after being out for a majority of the year. 3 games, this will be his 3rd game back. His first 2 games, he did not look bad at all. So go ahead and start Kyler Murray in this matchup. And this next game here, we're going to make it short, sweet, to the point. Broncos and the Browns face each other here in Denver. Dorian Thompson-Robinson going up against the Broncos, who are 25th against quarterbacks. If this was Deshaun Watson, it would be a start. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson only making his second start, this is not a good opportunity for him. I'm going to go ahead and sit him. Could put up some decent amount of points, but I'm not expecting them to lead on him to throw 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no turnovers at all. So just look for this to be a sit for both quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, especially because he's going up against the Browns, who are second against points given up to quarterbacks. They're tough. They are legit. Keep that moving from there. Now you got the Bills and the Eagles, and I'm going to go ahead and start both quarterbacks here, Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs even not performing as well as he has, or as he usually does the last 2 weeks, Josh Allen should have a good opportunity here, and hopefully same thing with Diggs. If you haven't seen the wide receiver rankings, or wide receiver start sit, like I said, go look back at that. Eagles are 30th against points given up to quarterbacks, and Josh Allen has a rushing upside to definitely continue plays as well. Jalen Hurts, rushing upside is definitely his forte. And on top of that, you also have A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. With no Dallas Goedert, both receivers are going to have to be utilized a little bit more. And the Bills are 4th against points given up to quarterbacks. But Jalen Hurts can show that with that being a situation, that doesn't matter too much to him. The Chiefs are 8th, and the Bills are 4th. And he ran 2 touchdowns and played decent enough to be a start last week. So keep that in mind moving forward. Speaking of the Chiefs, they're going to go ahead and go play in Las Vegas against the Raiders here. Patrick Mahomes will be a start for me in this matchup, and Aiden O'Connell will be a sit. Mahomes is going to be a start, but just make sure to temper your expectations on this one. Raiders are 11th when it comes to points given up to quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes has not been playing like the Patrick Mahomes we've had the last 4 or 5 years for fantasy football. He's kind of more average this year, and that's something I thought I'd never say about Patrick Mahomes, but in this matchup, I'm going to start him regardless of how tough the opportunity could be for him, or the matchup could be for him against the Raiders, who are ranked 11th. Aiden O'Connell, though, sit him. Jalen Hurts has that rushing upside. Aiden O'Connell does not have as much rushing upside like Jalen Hurts has, so it's going to limit his floor here, and it's going to make it a little bit harder for him to target, 15 to 18 points, so keep him in the lower half here, especially against the Chiefs, like I stated earlier, who are 8th against quarterback points given up. Now we got Sunday Night Football, Ravens, Chargers. I'm going to start Lamar Jackson here against the Chargers, who are 31st against points given up to quarterbacks. Definitely good opportunity for Lamar for a bounce back. He has struggled the last 2 out of the last 3 weeks. A little bit of a better bounce back game against the Bengals, though, at home on Thursday night last week. So look for him to continue to build off of that. And then Justin Herbert's a cautionary start. They throw the ball so much in LA, and they're going up against the Ravens, who are first. They are the toughest opponent when it comes to giving up points to quarterbacks. Justin Herbert should still be able to put a decent amount of points up, but you might not see the 22-25. You might see more of like a 16 to 18 point range, which is still good enough to get a start, but you might also see a little bit lower than that. So you got to weigh your factors here. Justin Herbert, obviously, if you have him, I don't mind starting him. It's just don't be surprised if he doesn't go over 20 this week, in my opinion. And then Monday Night Football ends it here for us. Bears, Vikings. Both these quarterbacks are going to be a start for me. Justin Fields is going up against the Vikings here, who are 15th against quarterback position. And he played very, very well against the Lions, who are 27th. But for his first came back after having that finger injury, or a thumb injury, I really like the opportunity here for him to continue to build off of that. And Joshua Dobbs has been playing phenomenal. Little bit of a step back in a sense, not really even a step back, but a little bit of a decrease in his points last week against the Broncos, who are 25th against the pass, but now they go up against the Bears, who are 23rd against the pass. So Josh Dobbs should still be able to put you a decent amount of points up around the 16 to 20 point range, which is good enough for me for Josh Dobbs versus somebody like a Justin Herbert. So just keep that in mind. Both these guys for me are starts in this matchup. And that'll do it for our quarterback start sits for this week. Again, usually these videos come out a little bit throughout the week. We have 2 rankings on Tuesday, 2 rankings on Wednesday, and then we do all of our start sits before Thursday Night Football. Give you a good amount of hours to look at all of them before the game starts. Can't do that this week. So we really busted our backs to get this stuff going for you guys, to make sure that we put out the content in time to get you ready for this week, for going into Thursday and going into Thanksgiving holiday. We hope you guys have a great holiday. Stay safe. Enjoy time with family, friends, whoever you got in your life. And go win some football games. Playoffs are coming up. We got to stack these wins. Let's continue to do so. And other than that, like and subscribe. It helps us go a long way. Like I said, we busted our back to get these videos out for you guys. So hope you enjoy them, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good holiday.